How's it going, everybody? Johnny Styles here with the Wellness Observer Live. It is September 8th, 2022. We got a lot of news to get into, but first, thank you so much for following the Wellness Observer Live. Of course, with the one and only the Godfather of Wellness, Johnny Styles. We are 14,700 plus on Instagram. Thank you so much. Remember, we're like 12, 13, 14. We're up and going to the 15,000 mark. Thank you so much. Again, I cannot thank you enough. Some really cool stuff happening in the Wellness Art of Life, all for you, wellness fans, competitors, and just overall fans of the class. This has been a wild ride, and it's only been 2 years. And also, if you are listening on iTunes, thank you again. And if you're listening on Spotify, which you can do both, you can do the video and you can do the audio. Thank you one more time. Tell everybody about the number one source for all things wellness, calling it right down the middle. We are going to be talking about the 2022 preview of the IFBB Pro League Heart of Texas. This is a show where it has a stacked lineup, and we're gonna see some familiar faces. And again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna talk about some of the girls that I know, some of the girls I really don't know, so I cannot move forward with my predictions. But again, I think I have in my head a clearer vision of who's gonna be in that top three, top four, and who might be a dark horse and who might, snag a win here and move on to the Olympia stage. Right here, we have the lineup. And I want to point out real quick for those of you watching, um, I did something that I shouldn't do. And, I added Karen Renokia at the end down here. This is me. I added her in, but this is not official. I'm going to explain to you guys some, for those of you that don't know, when the IFBB Pro League posts the list up there and a competitor's name is not there, it means that the contract is not at the offices yet, so they cannot update the list with the proper name. Sometimes you go to a show and a competitor just decides to do the show, or something happened with the email, or something happened with the contract, and it never got to the office, so they have to do it right up in there, and that's when you get your surprise entrance to the show. Sometimes these things happen. When you have a competitor bluntly saying to the world, I'm doing the show, I'm doing the show, I'm doing the show, and then the list comes out and you don't see the name, then it's kind of weird because you have to have your contract in order for the league to put the name up there. It's got to be done in a prompt manner. Now, I know Karen is doing the show because it only took her like 3 days or 2 days post her last show to tell the world that she was doing Texas. So I added her name in there. That is something I shouldn't do. That's something I shouldn't do. Moving forward, I'm just gonna post directly what's the site, because in reality, if she's not on the list, it's because there's something there. The contract is still not there and haven't updated it. But as far, for video purposes and this podcast video cast or whatever you want to call it, I am going to put it up there because I'm almost 99.9 sure that she is doing this show. We also got Amanda Burnett here. We got Alice Evans, Anne Marie Page. I know now how to say it. Quintesia Goodley, Renee Harshi, Daniela Crooks, Italia Molina. This is another name from Thailand. Nuanari Sriralak. I think so. I think I got it. Frida Paulson, Kat Williams, and Karen Renokia from Brazil. At the moment, she's the only one from Brazil doing this show. At the moment. And we might as well start with her because if you saw my last podcast, that's where the whole calf situation, calf gate, kind of happened. And if you haven't watched it, go back to my last video and check them out, because I did a rant on my opinion on calves, and I want to thank you guys. I want to thank all of you who have constantly tag me in all your calf workouts and your calf shots, your calf updates, because of course, this is a category where we are talking about the lower body, and the lower body needs to be shown, and you want that perfection in real life, and you want that fullness everywhere. So speaking of which, we're gonna talk about Karen, because she was the one who I was talking about when it came down to calf development. What can we expect from Karen moving forward? This is her in her last show. As you can see, I talked about her great shape, great structure, good delts, good upper body, good abs. Overall, I would like to see her a little bit harder. And this post, I would like to see her, a little bit, her hips a little bit moving to the outer side of the pose. But she is really good. I am not gonna knock her down again for the calf development, because we already know. She posted this video where she is training glutes, and you can see right here that she looks like she's in shape. The calves are still lagging, in my opinion. I'm going to reiterate one more time, in my opinion. But when she does this kickbacks right here, you can see the teardrop from the glute and ham. And you can see she is training at the Dragon's Lair already in Vegas. She hasn't stopped training. She had a good, solid meal. And you can expect her, in reality, to be in that top call out, in the first call out, between, top three, top two, top three, top two, top four. Who knows? I mentioned that the rematch between her and Frida Paulson was going to happen one more time, because they were kind of neck and neck. And when you're talking about Frida Paulson, I'm going to pull her up in a second here. When you're talking about Frida Paulson, she is one that has continuously evolved, and she's been training like an animal. We all know she can get better. We all know she switched from bikini to wellness, and you can see here her muscle conditioning is amazing. Look at that side shot when she's doing those squats. Crazy, crazy. I'm really happy with everything she's been doing moving forward. And, I expect her again. When she's there in the lineup, I think she posted a video when she was right there in that lineup. You could tell that, she's very impressive. Although her glutes, no matter what people say, she has big glutes, of course, but no matter what people say in this class, from the side, it's where you can tell that she doesn't have that pop that's needed. But from the back, when she does that back pose right here, it's pretty debatable. Then she can knock some girls out. And it's going to come down who's going to stand next to her. In this case, when Karen's standing next to her, we got to see what's going to happen with the side pose. But I like a lot what Frida has been doing with her body. Again, it's going to take time for her to develop into her final form, if you want to call it that. But in reality, I like her. I like her a lot. Expect also to see Frida Paulson in that first call out. When I pull this picture up from her, you can see that this back shot right here is crazy. And, she has the high calves, but they're full and big. It's going to come down for the side pose right here. Who's going to have that thickness from the side? Very good makeup, very good stage presentation. She in that world famous list that you're looking for. If you're a competitor, all you have to check-ins, your hair, your makeup, your tanning, your presentation, your posing, all that has to be in top shape. And, she's one of those girls that she's been doing this for a while, and she knows exactly how to do things. All right, next up, we got Dani Crooks. Dani Crooks is one of these other girls that, can come out of the woodwork. There we have her posing at the East Coast Mecca, Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym in Syosset, New York. I've done many videos there. She looks great from this side pose. This was posted 3 weeks out, and I like her. I like her a lot. She doesn't have like crazy upper muscle from, some of the other girls that I've seen, have come down from either figure or even women's physique. And when you put them in a wellness class, they still have big, huge calf delts. She doesn't seem to have that. She has a good body, and you can never know. She's posted her progress pictures, and you can see her body has changed. She has still, remained bigger on the lower body, which is kind of what we want, and eventually turned herself into a good competitor that has good shape structure for the wellness class, it's going to come down to that pose right there. She cut it off right there, but you can still think about it when you're seeing them together being compared. Always take into consideration the quarter turns. Okay, she looks good from the front. She looks really good. It's a matter of what's going to happen moving forward in that quarter turn. Next step, we have Anne Marie. I'm going to pull it up right here so you guys can see a little bit of Anne Marie. Anne Marie won her pro card and then went straight to the pro show. She is a dark horse for sure. If you haven't seen her on stage, I I strongly suggest you do, because she's one of those girls that you kind of don't see coming, and out of nowhere she just blasts away. She's very good posing, very killer side pose, great full calves, great side quads from the back, amazing glutes, very pretty. She is a contender. I would bet money that she can snag in a first call out, especially when you see her with the tanning and the presentation. She is very good. And when it comes down to conditioning, that's something that she always brings in. I've never not seen her out of shape, especially in a show. I'm gonna pull up this picture right here. This is a package that can do battle with all the IFBB pros. You see, right now we had a show, the North Americans. No, are they gonna what's this show this weekend? This past weekend, we had that super long show, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and while I did see some potential winners, there's space to grow. Just because you won a show on a national qualifier and you won your pro card doesn't mean you're ready for the pro stage. Some of these girls that won have good shape, good structure. They can still grow into the class. And I saw some good quality, but most of these girls, I don't think they're ready for the pro stage yet. I would give it a little bit, maybe a year. Get your pro card, go have fun, eat, develop, and then go back. With Anna, for example, when she won her pro card, she was ready. She was ready to step up there. And again, it's something crazy that this is her postpartum too. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some people have just amazing, work ethic, and some people have, genetics too, because it helps with her skin. So I am calling her out right now. Anne Marie could be a real good dark horse. Okay, be on the lookout for her. Next up, we have, let's see who we have next up. Cat Williams. Cat Williams, I've talked about her a few times. She came in from the bikini class, and she grew into, a lot of people remember her from her bikini days. And let me tell you, she has grown into a wellness physique. She can still get better. Her conditioning has to be on. That's just what it is. I believe that if she nails her conditioning, she can go places. Can she be bigger? I think so. I think she can get better and bigger, especially in the lower body. Those glutes can still be bigger. She does have good calves, good hamstring. You can see there glimpses of a teardrop. But when you're comparing, with bigger girls up in that stage, her legs can still be better. You see her training, and when you see her from afar, she kind of still, she has that hanging hamstring. She kind of still looks very bikini-ish, but again, she can get better, and she can eat to grow, and she can grow even better. From the back, she does have good calves, good separation when she does that the Romanian deadlift right here. And she's going to be posing in a second, and you can tell that, her skin needs to be harder, especially on the quads from the front. She can have a good tiny waist, and she can get better. That's all she needs. It's a matter of perfecting your craft. And I remember her when she was bikini, and she was good back then. She can only get better. I'm happy that she's doing this show, because this show is going to label her into knowing what the pose right here. She's doing it. You see, these legs right here, these can get better. These legs can get better. And from the side, her upper glute needs to get a lot better. But we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. Some girl can come in not in shape and she can move up a space. I'm really happy for her to do these shows. The only way you can get better and know where you're at is if you do shows. Some do a million shows back in the day. And, even this year, because she wanted to prove herself, she wanted to show that she can hang with the very best. And I still have her up there. Quintesia Gulli, I've met her in person. She is sweetheart. She looks very good. She has developed this great physique. I remember telling her she can get bigger, and she has gotten bigger. She is very dangerous. She's very dangerous, very complete package, very graceful, very good on stage, and she has all the right lines and all the right, muscles are all in the right place, especially when you see her posing right here. I'm really happy that she's going to be doing this show. She is also a dark horse. She is also one of these girls that you don't know how she's going to go against, Karen, for example. When you're doing the quarter turns, again, read my lips. When you're doing the quarter turns, that's where, we separate the girls from the women, especially in the wellness division. She looks really good, and I wouldn't count her out, not one bit, because she has done her homework. Next up, we have Nuanari. I think I'm saying her name right. She is from Thailand, I believe, and I would like to see her with a little bit more size. From the side, for example, she's good, but from the front, she is missing that quad sweep, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe she's gotten better. This was her last show, and while I would like to see her a little bit tighter in the abs because she looks a little bit distended here, this front pose, I would like to see more lines in this quad. I would like to see a little bit more lines. Her upper butt is good, not too big, not too small. From the side, she can get a little bit thicker right here, especially on this side, on this left leg right here. Upper glute can get better, and she can just, prove herself. Good calves right here. They can still grow. They can still grow, and they can, from the back, she's pretty good shot from the back. I won't expect her to do damage, but again, we can, this is a prediction preview type of thing. But, since I don't know much about her, I don't know exactly how can she do battle, honestly, especially with, a jacked Frida Paulson and Karen, which we're going to go into, talking about them in a little bit. Next up, we have Italia Molina. I know her very well, from Puerto Rico. She used to be a figure competitor. She was working with Antitone, and I still think Antitone is working with her. And what happened with Italia is she didn't have enough time to train. This a show that she just wanted to do, but at the moment she is happy with her crossover to the wellness category. And when I remembered about Italia, when she was nailing that pro figure look, she had crazy quads. There's a picture of her from up that she's showing her quad right there. This quads right here, I've seen her in her figure days, and those figure days were impressive. Can she be better? Of course. She just needs to do more shows. She just needs to nail that conditioning that she brought in the figure posing, and her glutes. I think her glutes, since she was so into the figure category, there's a picture right here of her when she was doing figure right here. In figure, it's a little bit different when they're talking about glutes. Only Natalia Soltero, which is a Mexican competitor, she's gotten close to winning the Olympia, but no, she won the Arnold. She had some crazy glutes, and still does crazy glutes. But in figure, it almost seemed that back in the day they didn't want big glutes. They want shredded legs, but they didn't want bigger glutes. So in order for her to do well, she already has the wheels. She just needs the glutes and the posing. The posing can be a little bit better. Next up, let's see who we have next up. I've talked about a lot of girls in this lineup, so it's going to be a really, really good show. Let's see. They have, last but not least, I think I have my last competitor right here, Amanda Burnett. You guys have seen me talk about Amanda forever, okay? And again, when I was starting doing this video, I kind of in my head, I kind of thought this is Amanda show to win. This should be the dark horse that nobody is expecting. But we don't know what Amanda we're gonna have on stage. We have seen her in hotel rooms looking absolutely spectacular, like we're seeing her right now. And we have seen her on the stage where she actually won her pro card, where she actually looked pretty good. And then, a little bit later in Texas, when she did the other Texas show, she looked a little bit softer. And while she does have the grace, the look, the presentation, it's always a little bit hit and miss with Amanda. Do I want her to do better? Absolutely. I think Amanda's one of those competitors that, believe it or not, I thought she was going to be winning her pro card earlier. When she's training, you can see all those details in those hamstrings. She has great calves. Good look. When she's standing on stage on the quarter turns, she looks really, really good. And again, between her and a few others, she is a dark horse for this too. She can come out right out of the woodwork. This are some wellness legs, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching them right there on your screen. She hasn't stopped all year long. She hasn't stopped. And imagine that if she wins, she not only wins her pro card, but she's going to the Olympia stage. This is the type of legs that I want to see. This is the type of look that I would like to see her bring on stage, no matter what. No matter what, I'd prefer sometimes, some of you have asked me, what can I do, in order for me to, should I go a little bit harder? Should I go a little bit softer? I always say that you should look your very best. If your very best is to be a little bit harder, more conditioned, I'd prefer a judge would say to you, oh, you were a little bit too hard, you were a little bit too conditioned, then a judge would tell you you're a little bit off, you're a little bit soft, you're a little bit fat, you're holding water. Because in reality, if you take that out of context, you would say that, well, that competitor wasn't conditioned enough. So I would say to you, bring your very best. Always bring in your conditioning game on. Because, if you're going to talk true bodybuilding and fitness, conditioning should win, okay? And you shouldn't leave that to a judge to tell you that you're not unconditioned, because that's just not the way the cookie crumbles. This was one of her last updates, and safe to say, she actually looks even bigger now than when she started competing at the beginning of the year. So in my opinion, if you're going to call it, right down the middle, I would have Amanda up there. I would have Karen up there. I would have, of course, Frida Paulson in there. And, I think the Anne-Marie can snag in there too. And it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because, again, you don't know who's gonna show up or the way they're gonna show up. Some judges like conditioning, some judges like a little bit of that full look. It's right place, right time, right set of eyes to look at you. But I would safely say Amanda Burnett, Anne-Marie, Frida Paulson, Karen Renokia, and let's see. Who else? Who else can I say? Maybe no. I don't want to keep mentioning names because then you guys will crucify me. But every single girl that I mentioned here, they're all great, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen next. If you're a girl that places in the second call out and you're not in that top 4, top 5, that's when you get your real feedback. Basically, you would have to be in that level. What are you missing from yourself that those top 4 girls have? Okay, it's gonna be really interesting to see what's gonna happen. Again, from the back, a lot of the girls that I mentioned, they're awesome, they're amazing. From the front too, there are girls that have really tiny waist with good quads, good delts, good presentation, It's going to come down to the quarter turns. Who has that bigger, fuller look, that thickness from the side with the proper lines that represents a full body that's fully conditioned and full at the same time? You got me? Okay. This has been Johnny Styles, the Godfather of Wellness. Thank you so much for joining me in on another episode of the Wellness Observer Live. Again, thank you so much for following. This has been Johnny Styles, the Godfather of Wellness, and I'll see